Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton, just off Orleans in Carrollton. Books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. Find them on the web at tubbyandcoos.com and sign up for their geekly newsletter. Tubby & Coo's, more than books.
Kasha's Bazaar, located at 5727 Jesson Highway, across from Red, White, and Blue. Geeky collectibles and more. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Kasha's Bazaar. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jesson Highway, the Unflea Market.
CypherCon, Lake Charles, Louisiana's premier pop culture convention, returns to the Lake Charles Civic Center April 7th through the 9th. There's so much to do. Come see Julian Glover from Game of Thrones or Sonny Strait from Dragon Ball Z. Gaming, panels, vendors, an artist alley, charity auction, fan party, cosplay contest, and a Friday night pub crawl. For more information, go to cyphercon.org. That's CYPHACON.org. CypherCon, April 7th through the 9th at the Lake Charles Civic Center.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. Broadcasting from the tubbyandcoos.com studios, here's David and Brian.
Good evening. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that is trending now. This is your host, D Squared, with
Brian Held.
Brian, how the hell are you, man?
I'm fantastic, sir.
All right, man. You know what? We should just really just get straight into Top Nerd News.
And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world. Brought to you by Kasha's Bazaar. Find them at 5727 Jefferson Highway. And now, our top nerd news stories.
All right, Brian. So, here's the thing. You know, Woody Harrelson was on Jimmy Fallon's show.
Yeah, I saw that, man.
So apparently, I don't know, he's going to stop smoking weed. So, good for him on that.
Yeah,
But
right.
Also, I'm hoping he just wasn't stoned during the interview, because he let some information drop about his character's name in the new Han Solo movies and, what his role will be.
I know, yeah, it's crazy news.
So, well, here's a little clip of him and Jimmy Fallon talking.
Let's get back to Star Wars. Can we say who you're playing, or you're not allowed to say that either? It's very secretive, these films.
Yeah, I play a guy named Beckett, who's kind of a criminal and a mentor to Han. That's all I can say.
That's it. That's all you can say.
And that's all they said. I mean, then he talked about pot.
Well, and I looked it up, man. I can't find any specific reference to a Beckett related to, Star Wars.
Yeah, I think this is specifically made for the movie, but it has some basis in the books. The guy's name was Shrike, who was actually Han Solo's mentor in the books, the stuff that's no longer canon. And now that they've rebooted the entire franchise, they can do whatever they want. And I'm thinking, if they don't follow the books, if they make this guy, Beckett, then they can change all of Han Solo's backstory, how he became a smuggler, who this guy really is, and maybe, maybe we'll just get a little more of an in-depth, search into it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm totally cool with that, right? I mean, we are begging for new material out of Hollywood. This is a perfect opportunity
Reboots.
for that.
Reboots. I'm talking about reboots. Well, also, Emilia Clarke's going to be in it, too. Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones.
Right.
And nobody knows who she's going to be. So I mean, there's rumors floating around that she might be somebody who's in Star Wars, the Rebels on Disney XD and stuff like that. But I mean, so Beckett, I mean, he let it slip. Hopefully, it wasn't just a pot-induced, random speaking that just popped out of his mouth. Hey, man, Ryan Reynolds. And what's that other guy? Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, my God. Are you talking about the Wired, the Google autocomplete stuff? Is that
no, but that was a pretty funny interview. But they're in that new movie, Life. All right,
Okay.
so here's the thing. People are saying, and the internet pretty much lost its mind, that Life might be a prequel to the Venom movie that Sony's going to put out in 2018.
You know, I don't know how I feel about this, man. I mean, Sony has kind of screwed up Spider-Man.
X-Men?
No, it's Spider-Man,
Yeah.
right? It's Fox is screwing up X-Men.
Right.
But, you know, Sony hasn't really done that good of a job. I mean, of course, people are excited about Homecoming because Iron Man's going to be in it.
Yeah.
But why are we talking about Venom?
Well, because, I mean, look, it's eerily similar when you look at the previews of the movie. That it's a very a thin, like it's wiry. It's like stringy, you know, and it looks like it can, you know, meld onto people. Like it looks like it's wrapping its tendrils. There's a good word.
Yeah.
Its tendrils around them and turning them into something else, kind of like a symbiote does. And a symbiote is what Venom is.
Right.
You know, he's I don't know. I think it's plausible because, you know, once it gets down on Earth, they've already said, and here's the thing, the directors have denied or have not denied it.
Right.
They're basically saying, could be.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not outright saying, no, that's just the internet being silly, which the internet usually is silly.
Right. What I'm kind of getting at is we didn't have Venom, right, until as far as the comic books are concerned, Spider-Man gets the symbiote in relation to Secret Wars,
right.
You know, and then it kind of evolves over time. Like they never even intended Venom to be a character originally.
Dude, Venom and Carnage have kind of blown up in the past few years because people know who the hell they are because they're badass.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. They haven't gotten good footing with Spider-Man as a whole, and now to just throw Venom out into the mix, I mean, maybe it's good. I mean, we are asking for new stuff out of Hollywood.
Maybe life will imitate art. Or art will imitate life. I'm not sure.
Maybe so.
Speaking of life imitating art, it's a terrible segue, worse than broadcast history. Star Wars Rebels finally gave us closure, Brian.
I know, for Ben Kenobi and Darth Maul.
Right.
Dude.
They had their lightsaber duel that lasted a whole 2.3 seconds.
I know. Well, and did you see the follow-up where Darth Maul used the same block technique that he used in Qui-Gon Jinn?
Yes.
And Ben Kenobi just kind of blew through it.
I saw the little gif. He kept going.
Yeah.
And it just like on auto repeat. Killing old Qui-Gon Jinn.
But yeah, I mean, Ben Kenobi put the axe on, or the lightsaber on Darth Maul, finally, in an effort to protect the Chosen One, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of interesting that he believes that Luke Skywalker is the Chosen One, right?
He does.
And there's so much debate on, well, was it Anakin? Is it Luke? Is it now Rey? Right. You know, and so I found it pretty interesting, and it's such a brief snippet.
Well, I honestly, I think Star Wars Rebels is probably the show that most people need to be watching.
Yes.
Only for the fact that it really, it's where all the new stuff is coming from. And I think of the movies are going to be pulling from Star Wars Rebels because every episode of Star Wars Rebels that comes out is canon and is like, it's history. It is literally the new Star Wars history. And, you know, it's whatever happens in those cartoons literally will affect the movies.
Right. Oh, definitely. And I mean, there were even snippets of Star Wars Rebels in Rogue One.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, I mean, it's definitely all connected. I think it's great. You know, if it's all better than Episode 7 at this point, you know, we're good.
All right. Now, here's something that's a reboot, but you're on board with this. The MST 3K, Mystery Science Theater 3000. Here, take a listen to the trailer, Brian.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Moon Base 13. We need your help. Mayday! Show trap initiated.
The heck?
You speak to I, Kinga Forrester, commander of the Moon 13 Research Station. I am reopening my family's most legendary experiment, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Movie in the hole.
Woo! So that's Felicia Day that we heard talking.
Anything that she does is gold, as far as I'm concerned.
And then your Hobbit friend, what's his name?
Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt, that little Hobbit-looking dude.
Yeah, no,
he's an angry little Hobbit.
He is.
He really is.
I love his work.
I know, which I find completely odd.
Why?
Because he's a mean little Hobbit, and you're like this nice guy.
Well,
I guess that explains why you like me. I think we I have understanding. Clarity has been found. So, I mean, it's coming on Netflix April 17th? Yes,
yeah.
April 14th.
14th. Yeah.
So, I don't know. It is the epitome of cheesy movies meets like Rocky Horror.
Yeah,
you know,
for the commentary.
But, yeah. I mean, at conventions, when you go to these conventions, sometimes we would play, terrible movies and just kind of, improv it.
Right.
I mean, and so watching this, you can have fun with that as well. I don't know. Invite your friends.
Oh, yeah. No,
Make fun and point at people and laugh.
I'm excited. Now, hey, before we get to the commercial, you want to talk about Ghost in the Shell real fast?
Sure, okay.
All right.
I really don't want to, but okay.
Well, I find it very interesting that the production company dropped the first 5 minutes of Ghost in the Shell online. You can watch this whole fight sequence with Scarlett Johansson.
Right.
I think it's an incredible sequence. I think that the...
Okay, now let me stop you right there.
All right.
Has the movie come out yet?
The movie is out next week.
So next week, and they're releasing 5 minutes of footage to a movie that hasn't even hit the theaters. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I think that there was a lot of negative commentary in regards to this movie. There was a lot of people who were concerned about whitewashing. Of course, the main character is supposed to be Japanese. Scarlett Johansson is not Japanese.
What? It's crazy,
right? There's also some concerns that I've read about this is just a simple revenge tale, and it doesn't get into the nuances of the original source material. So
my biggest thing is I just don't care. And I wasn't a big fan of the original Ghost in the Shell. I've never been a fan of anime. Right. I just don't like it. And now I could care even less. I mean, I haven't even bothered to watch the trailer or I watched the trailer or this 5 minutes of movie footage because I don't care. So, I mean, that's saying something right there. When people they're putting out the movie before it's even come out. 5 minutes. It's unheard of.
Wow.
And still, I personally don't care. And I know I'm not alone in not caring.
Do you like Cyberpunk?
Yes, I like Cyberpunk.
I think you should give this 5 minutes a shot.
No.
All right.
I don't want to.
Guys, stay tuned. When we get back from this short break, we're going to have Skungy in his pick of the week.
What's he talking about?
He's talking about Mass Effect Andromeda, which is...
Dude, that's a big game.
It is a very big game.
I'll find out if I want to spend my money on it.
Yeah. All right, guys, stay tuned. You're listening to Fox Sports 1280.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.org.
It has just been moved off of Jefferson Highway near the UEP Long Bridge, and the wreck was moved into a parking lot. We are seeing extremely heavy traffic in Elmwood on southbound Clearview Parkway from Airline all the way down to the UEP Long Bridge. Also, heavy traffic remains on your way to the east bank of the Crescent City connection. Watch for a stalled vehicle being moved from the main span of the bridge and delays back to Terry Parkway. I'm Lisa Baque. Follow us on Twitter at Total Traffic NO.
There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org.
From the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer Weather Center.
Looks like a nice evening ahead. Low temperatures are going to be in the 60s, but look for a gusty breeze on Friday. High temperatures are going to be around 80, maybe a stray shower, but it should be mostly dry. From the Fox 8 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist David Bernard.
This report is brought to you by McDonald's. Download the McDonald's app and get a free large soft drink with any purchase every week. And right now, get any size soft drink, sweet tea, or coffee for just $1 anytime at McDonald's. Limited time. Participation may vary. See McDonald's.com/app for details. McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the tax helpline that's been set up to help you. 800-208-3310. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced reduced settlements, and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Tax Mediation Hotline, 800-208-3310. That's 800-208-3310. 800-208-3310.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
CypherCon, Lake Charles, Louisiana's premier pop culture convention, returns to the Lake Charles Civic Center April 7th through the 9th. Go to cyphercon.org. That's CYPHACON.org. CypherCon, April 7th through the 9th at the Civic Center.
Kasha's Bazaar has an unconventional inventory for the discerning geek collector. Comic book-related collectibles, vintage New Orleans items, militaria, and plenty for your mundane friends. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jefferson Highway, the Unflea Market.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. This is D Squared with
Brian Held.
All right, Brian, you know what it's time for?
We got Skungy on the line.
Who's Skungy? I never heard of him. I thought we fired him. Did we get rid of him? All right, let's do it.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Woohoo! Skungy, what's shaking bacon?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Living the dream, brother. All right, man. So, Mass Effect 4, what's up?
Basically, Mass Effect Andromeda is the name of it.
Okay.
So,
is
Mass
it good?
Effect Andromeda is it's a continuation of the story of the events that happen in between Mass Effect 2 and 3. So
like
they did this thing called the Andromeda Initiative. You took a bunch of arcs and people went from the Milky Way galaxy to the Andromeda galaxy to go colonize humanity there.
Okay.
So the good thing about this game is that you really don't need to know anything about the other Mass Effect games. I mean, to be completely honest with, the Mass Effect games are fantastic. All three of them, 1, 2, 3, it's a fantastic story. But they're like treasure troves of knowledge in those games. All three games are large, huge, spanning stories over multiple years, backstories, and it's a very rich culture. Well, this game, you don't really need to know any of that. You can jump right in to it, not having played any of the previous ones, which is good.
Yeah, well, that's worth it because I haven't played any of them.
So, and they also come with this little codex thing in the game, which will give you backstory if you want to learn the backstory, which, I mean, I suggest. It's one of the things that this series has been great for. I mean, they've written books about this game series. I've read a couple of them. They're really good. The game, now to get to the gameplay, the combat in this one is actually so much more improved than the previous Mass Effect games.
That's good. Is it first person, like first person shooter?
It flows a lot better. It's using your abilities are a lot more. They're hands on. The cover system's a little messed up, and the ordering your troops around is a little messed up as well.
So, Skungy, hold up a second. Is it like a first-person shooter game like Call of Duty or something?
No, it is a third-person shooter.
Okay, and you're controlling not just you, but a group of individuals?
Well, you control yourself, but then you can, like, issue orders to your troop, to the people that are with you in your group. Like, hey, go over there and shoot that in the face.
Okay.
Blow that up.
I want to give that exact order.
I know you do.
All right. Well, so is it similar to like Gears of War? You're talking about a cover system.
Well, it's a wonky cover system. Where Gears of War has that system where you can like run up to anything and you press the button and you're hunkered down in cover. This is kind of hit or miss. As long as you have your gun drawn and you go up to a piece of cover, it puts you in automatic cover, but you never really know if you're in cover or not. It's like I said, it's a little wonky.
All
So,
right, well.
of the gameplay, that's one of the things that kind of holds it back. The story so far is good. It's a decent story. It doesn't live up to the story of the other Mass Effects, though.
Okay, why?
Because the other Mass Effects had unique characters that you really feel for the characters and you want to know more about them. They didn't have really too many standout characters in this one. Everybody felt kind of generic.
Okay.
The story is good, and it's a great story of exploration and whatnot. But one of the big things, a problem I have, is that you're going to you're going to a new galaxy. All right, you're in a brand new galaxy, and there are only 2 new species of aliens that you meet.
Okay.
Well, I mean, in real life, Skungy, we still haven't even met one. So they met 2. They're doing better than us.
But you're coming. But in the Mass Effect universe, you're coming from a galaxy where there's like 14 different races of aliens.
That's because they were making their first game. They were like, hey, let's think of a cat-faced race. Now we're going to do a polyp.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, like I said, so far, the story's pretty good. The graphics, on the other hand, it's getting a lot of flack because of the facial animations on the humans. I mean, the internet is a buzz with that.
What? What's wrong with their faces?
Oh, my
Tell
God.
me.
They don't look right. They look psychotic at times. I mean,
like a butterface?
It's funny because it looks like they put all this money into this game, and if this is the product, it's what did you do with all the money?
Well, I mean, it seems like they must have been on a deadline, huh? I mean, is there, what do you call it?
The what?
When you... the add-ons, like season passes and stuff.
DLC.
Yeah, the DLC.
There is no. They don't have a season pass for this.
And no DLC stuff?
I mean, they might eventually do it. Most of the Mass Effects, like Mass Effect 2 and 3, had add-ons to it, but it wasn't like huge. It was just small little add-ons. It wasn't something like they're like, you need this to play it.
I am seeing a lot of mixed reviews from the Mass Effect community. Like I'm tagged into a couple of different boards on Facebook, and the community itself. Well, they're just I mean, I like the games. I like the game series. I think that the cosplay that comes out of it is fantastic, and
absolutely,
I think that the community is a little bit torn. Like Skungy's saying, I think they missed on some of the objectives. Well, I mean, Skungy, what price and platforms? What are we looking at?
It's on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. It's $60. There's a deluxe version of it for $70, which gets you a couple of extra weapons and resources and armor and stuff like that. That seems to be like EA's thing now. They're doing like they're doing the regular edition and then the deluxe edition for like $10 more.
And no collector's edition with super cool stuff.
There was a collector's edition, but it wasn't available like through your normal retailers. You could only get it online.
Okay. And
because it wasn't like, you can go to a GameStop or a Walmart or anything like that. No, you had to get it directly from an online retailer that had it.
Yeah, it was a human blow-up doll with an angry face. That's what it was, right? No?
Skungy, what was in the collector's edition?
You know what? I don't even really know what was in the collector's edition because I couldn't find a thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
But traditionally they used to, which is weird because they had a collector's edition for every single one of the game. Now they never really did anything like they didn't do like a statue or anything like that, but a lot of times it was just more like background books and everything like that on the history or some extra DLC or stuff like that. Okay. Making of DVDs, but there was nothing like that with this one.
All right. So, hey, Skungy, I wanted to ask you about, are you following any E3 news? Because that's coming up in June.
I've been trying to keep my ears to it. The biggest thing, like I said, is the public being let into E3, which I think is just going to be absolute chaos and will be a terrible idea.
Well,
we're going to go streaking.
Oh, yeah,
streaking in E3. Woo!
Streaking through the quad.
I'm excited to hear about Fallout 4 VR has been confirmed for E3. So, have you seen anything about this, Skungy?
I actually saw Fallout 4 VR at my manager's convention in September.
Wait, why did you not tell us about
He's
this?
holding out.
Because it wasn't big. It was just literally walking around a settlement. There was really no gameplay or anything. It was just you walking around a settlement. You couldn't pick up anything. You couldn't shoot anything. It was just like, here, put this helmet on and walk around.
Hey, McFly. McFly, you're fired.
Skungy, I can't believe.
God, how do you not open up with that as soon as you see us? We love Fallout. You don't even bring it up.
You don't love Fallout. Brian loves Fallout.
We all love Fallout.
Well, I'm excited to hear that it's coming. Supposedly, there's really good things that's coming. If it compares to anything like Dave and I have experienced with the Oculus Rift,
and In Exile Entertainment,
exactly,
yeah.
It's going to be insane. So,
I sure hope so. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see because their plans are that they want to have it available on the PlayStation VR and also through the Oculus, and then maybe whenever we find out with Microsoft's big reveal with the Scorpio also at E3 as well.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Scorpio.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna do more. From what I understand, they're doing more of augmented reality instead of virtual reality with their HoloLens, where you look in the normal area and in the world, and you wear these special goggles, and stuff comes up in the real world.
That would make me buy an Xbox instantly.
What?
Yeah.
I'm marking the date and time right now.
Yeah.
All right,
Document
Skungy.
this.
Well, thank you, man. And guess what?
I get a pony.
Yeah, you're fired.
And some ice
Get
cream.
out of here. You're fired. Talk to you next week.
All
right, guys. Now, look, you know what? If you any part of today's show, if you felt like you missed it, you want to catch it, you can always get more information at Facebook.com/The Weekend Geek. Check out our Facebook page. Like us on Twitter at Twig Radio. The Instagram's The Weekend Geek. And what else did I miss?
You got Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Okay, well, then I'm done.
You're done.
Moving on. All right, guys, when we get back, we have a great interview with
Sean Patrick Fanon, the gaming guest of honor from this past CoastCon.
All right, stay tuned. This is The Weekend Geek on Fox Sports 1280.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Tubby & Coos, Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton, just off Orleans and Carrollton. Books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. Find them on the web at tubbyandcoos.com and sign up for their geekly newsletter. Tubby & Coos, more than books.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
In a New Orleans that never was and never will be, airships float high above the city while platoons of clockwork automatons patrol the streets below. In Storyville, pirates, streetwalkers, gamblers, and thieves prowl back alleys in search of their next mark. New Orleans by Gaslight, the premier anthology of locally written and locally produced steampunk poetry and fiction, all set in Victorian New Orleans. Buy it now, available in both paperback and Kindle versions at Amazon.com. New Orleans by Gaslight.
Kasha's Bazaar, located at 5727 Jesson Highway across from Red, White, and Blue. Geeky collectibles and more. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Kasha's Bazaar. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jesson Highway, the Flea Market.
CypherCon, Lake Charles, Louisiana's premier pop culture convention, returns to the Lake Charles Civic Center April 7th through the 9th. There's so much to do. Come see Julian Glover from Game of Thrones or Sonny Strait from Dragon Ball Z. Gaming, panels, vendors, an artist alley, charity auction, fan party, cosplay contest, and a Friday night pub crawl. For more information, go to cyphercon.org. That's CYPHACON.org. CypherCon, April 7th through the 9th at the Lake Charles Civic Center.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
My name is Optimus Prime, and you are listening to The Week in Geek. Autobots, transform and roll out.
This is Brian L. with the Week in Geek radio show on Fox Sports 1280, and I'm joined by Coscons, one of their gaming guests of honor, and quite an interesting character that I've met, Mr. Sean Patrick Fanon. How are you?
Oh, it's a Sunday at a con after our Saturday night party, so y'all can probably guess, but I'm actually doing quite well, thanks.
Fantastic. Now, you have been in the gaming industry for well over 20 years at this point, and then have done so much incredible work. How did you get started in this?
Well, I mean, I started gaming in '77, discovered Star Wars and D&D in the same year, and funny thing was there was nobody else playing in Cobb County, Georgia that I had found at the time, so I had to teach myself how to be a dungeon master. And I was far more interested in the Keep on the Borderlands than I was in the Caves of Chaos that were supposed to be the big dungeon crawl. And, you know, I was very much driven by the desire to create cool worlds and stories, so I started building the world that became Shinetar back then as a kid. So, I mean, in some ways I started, you know, as the hobbyist, you know, like many people, but professionally, after years of trying to do a number of other things, I went to West Point, I was a cop, I worked for Eastern Airlines, managed a 7-Eleven. I've done almost everything except worked in the medical field. But I was always doing the gaming stuff as well. And I'm starting to write some articles for some magazines and some reviews and things like that. And my friends had just kept pushing. They said, the stuff that you write, the ideas you come up with, they're as good as anything, if not better than a lot of stuff out there. And I finally was like, oh, the hell with it, I'll take a crack. And I was really into Champions at the time, 4th edition era Champions. And I met up with the Hero Games folks at Dragon Con in, I think it was '89. And I pitched some ideas, and they really liked them, so they gave me the paperwork to fill out to actually submit. And I submitted High Tech Enemies was my first major project I did for them, which was a thematic villain book. And I also did some world building in that, and that sort of just launched my career from there as a storyteller, as a creator of characters and worlds and ideas. And you know, from there, it's one of those things where in that day, if you did good work on something and you turned in solid work, they would tell their colleagues. So I got a reputation for being really good with the first draft, which was a big deal back then. So I got invited to do some stuff with the Star Wars role-playing game. And eventually down the road, I had to do a lot more Champion stuff. I helped develop the fusion system, but that didn't go quite where we wanted. But
you also, after a while, got into the video game industry as well, right?
Yeah. And then, I apologize to your listeners now, man. I will talk and talk and talk. So yeah, I took a crack at the computer game industry. I actually went to work for Interplay for a little while, and that didn't work out so well. In fact, my entire journey through the computer game industry was just one disaster after another. It had me moving all over the country, but nothing was ever quite working out, so I got frustrated. I mean, for every project people see that's really successful, there's 10 more that ended up in the bargain bin because they just didn't go anywhere, and 100 that never finished in the first place, and all the teams got dumped. And whereas I don't mind having a bit of chaos in my life, that level of instability was just too much. So I went back to my first love and back to writing and designing the tabletop stuff, which after a while became very viable because we're going through a real renaissance with that now.
Now, speaking more recently, something that you've worked on and a very great selling product is the Savage World series. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Savage Worlds is a system that was developed by my very good friend Shane Hensley. And for those who don't know, it's like the third most popular game system in the world right now because of all the different publishers who use the system for their stuff, or they'll republish an established product using the Savage Worlds rules to get to that marketplace. But he developed that along with some other people based off of his work with Deadlands, which is a famous Weird West setting and game. And he originally hooked me up with Savage Worlds a few years ago for my Shinetar project, because I was really looking for a system I wanted to develop in. And so I did some work. But that was, it was me publishing for myself, but he gave me access to the license. And then I sort of became part of the Savage Worlds family, as a friend, and I'm in the core rules book now as one of the contributing. I had some ideas and stuff. I didn't get part of the actual Pinnacle team, however, until we did the Savage Rifts project, which was taking Kevin Sabita's 1990 hit Rifts and translating that into Savage Worlds, which we launched as a Kickstarter last year, and it's one of the most successful Kickstarters in RPG history. It's certainly the most successful one for Savage Worlds and for Pinnacle. So it's kind of a big deal all around, and that they brought me fully in as the brand manager and lead designer for that. So kind of embedded now.
Most definitely. Now, you have some projects that are in the pipe right now that you're working on. Tell me about what's coming out now.
Sure. So we did first wave the Savage Rift projects, but with the popularity of it, people really want to see more products. So I've got 3 more books that I'm working on for this year for that. Wave 2, we're calling it. So people could look forward to that. And on top of that, I have this really cool project I'm working on called Freedom Squadron, which is based off the Venom Assault board game done by Spyglass Games. They did a love letter to G.I. Joe that will blow your mind. It's a cooperative deck-building board game with a dice mechanic, and I just fell in love with it. I thought they did a great job on that, but the art will just, it's amazing. I've been sharing it a lot, so people have seen it, but it's like the best of the G.I. Joe era. And but it's not G.I. Joe, it's its own world. It's just obviously, calls back to G.I. Joe very nicely. But it's a post-World War III futuristic kind of thing, global special operations force, but you get that G.I. Joe feel out of it. And I'm doing that in Savage Worlds. And I came up with a cool subset of rules called Plans and Operations that lets people do this Mission Impossible or Ocean's 11 type, scheme or heist games or military plan games. So pretty excited about that. Been showing that off. A lot of people got to see it here at the show and enjoyed it. So I'm working on that. I've got that on a Patreon right now, and I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter for that later. I'm also working on. I'm the code designer for Prowls and Paragons Ultimate Edition, which is a new set of superhero rules that kind of calls back to Champions because you get to roll these giant handfuls of dice, but it's way, way, way simpler. And I've got a setting book for that called Modern Gods, which is itself a callback to the 4th edition era Champions universe. And so a lot of people who are fans of the Champions Worlds back then will get a kick out of that too. So I got 5 major books I'm working on right now.
That's incredible. Now, you have a lot of products that are coming out. Where can folks go to find out more about these products? And tell us about your Patreon as well.
Sure, thank you. So Sean Patrick Fanon, Fanon, I'm easy to find on the Patreon, and that's where people can get early access to all the rules that I'm developing for Freedom Squadron and for the Modern Gods and Prowls and Paragon stuff. So it won't have anything that is for my Pinnacle work, but all my Evil Beagle work. So I have my own publishing company, Evil Beagle Games, Bad Dog, Good Games. And evilbeaglegames.com is out there. Drive-Thru RPG carries all the stuff that we do digitally, and you also get print on demand. And that's still my primary place where I sell a lot of my stuff. Although you could also go to the Pinnacle site if you want to get a hold of the Savage Rift stuff. And really, probably the best thing, if you're on Facebook, I can't say I'm the only Sean Patrick Fanon on Facebook anymore. I freaked out. I found out there was another Sean Patrick Fanon on there. It has nothing to do with anything I do. We're related just because of the bloodline, but I'm really easy to find as Sean Patrick Fanon on Facebook, and that's probably the best place to just kind of keep up, follow me, and then I can friend me on there, and I'll point you to everything else I'm doing.
That's fantastic. Well, Sean, it was a pleasure hanging out with you all weekend long. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, and thank you for having my back last night when we got to that part of the party where I was like, it's time for me to fall down now. So, Brian, you're a good guy.
Well, thank you. It's what I do. Thanks.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Traffic due to a breakdown on the Crescent City connection coming toward the East Bank. Delays are backed up from De Gaulle up to the Smoothie King Center. We also have a backup at the high rise on I-610 East, starting at Elysian Fields, and some slowing in Metairie, westbound on I-10, from Clearview Parkway up toward Power Boulevard. And if you see traffic problems, call us at 504-620-1000. I'm Lisa Baque.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
Don't you hate it when you're doing your taxes and your so-called free tax site charges you $70 before you file? $70 doesn't sound very free. Well, now there's Credit Karma Tax. Credit Karma Tax is really, truly, completely free. That means you never get charged for itemized deductions or federal filing. Yup, even state filing is free. You worked hard for your refund, and at Credit Karma Tax, we think you deserve to keep all of it. This year, file your taxes for free and get your full refund at creditkarma.com/tax. Free to start, free to finish. Credit Karma Tax.
The Week in Geek every Thursday at 6 p.m. from the TubbyandCoos.com studios. Comic books, movies, video games, and more. The Week in Geek every Thursday at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1280 with David D. DeCorbier and Brian Held.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the tax helpline that's been set up to help you. 800-208-3310. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Tax Mediation Hotline, 800-208-3310. That's 800-208-3310. 800-208-3310.
It's 3 p.m. For 50 million kids across America, school's out. And for a third of these kids, they're out on their own. Out with nothing to do and nowhere to go. Gives a whole new meaning to the 3 o'clock bell, doesn't it? It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org.
Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. Right now, there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at unbound.org.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 631 North Carrollton, just off Orleans in Carrollton. Books, board games, and geeky t-shirts. Find them on the web at tubbyandcoos.com and sign up for their geekly newsletter. Tubby & Coos, more than books.
Kasha's Bazaar, located at 5727 Jesson Highway, across from Red, White, and Blue. Geeky collectibles and more. Find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Kasha's Bazaar. Kasha's Bazaar, 5727 Jesson Highway, the Flea Market.
CypherCon, Lake Charles, Louisiana's premier pop culture convention, returns to the Lake Charles Civic Center April 7th through the 9th. Celebrity guests include Julian Glover from Game of Thrones, Sonny Strait from Dragon Ball Z, and so many more. Concerts, gaming, panels, vendors, an artist alley, charity auction, fan party, cosplay contest, and a Friday night pub crawl. For more information, go to cyphercon.org. CypherCon, April 7th through the 9th at the Lake Charles Civic Center.
When you're in need of pain relief, come to Need It Relief Massage Therapy. Kat is an experienced licensed massage therapist. Check out her website and book your session online now at massagetherapykm.com. Need It Relief Massage Therapy for some much needed relief.
welcome back. You're listening to The Week in Geek on Fox Sports 1280. This is your host, D Squared, with
Brian Held.
Hey, Brian.
Hey,
We're in the
man.
home stretch, baby.
We are.
So how do we always round out our show? I forget. Don't we do something special for the last segment?
We do This Week in Geek History, Dave.
This week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future!
Yes! Oh my God!
This week in Geek History is brought to you by CypherCon, April 7th through the 9th in Lake Charles, Louisiana. For more information, go to cyphercon.org. This week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Dun-na-na. CypherCon, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's coming up soon.
All right.
Yep. All right, Dave, you ready?
I am.
All right. First one on my list is March 20th, 1841.
Man, you went way back.
I did. The short story, The Murders in the Rue Morgue by Edgar Allan Poe, which will later become a widely considered the first detective story in history, is published in Graham's Magazine.
Wow.
Yes.
What was it? The Raven cries, nevermore.
Yeah.
Nevermore.
Right.
I read a book. I don't want people to know that. I do know how to read. But I usually choose not to be educated.
No, but I think it's cool that the story establishes, the literary devices and motifs that you see in the mystery genre. I think it's, it's such a great story.
Poe really was a dark individual, man.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, have you ever seen the movie The Raven? It's
been a while.
It's actually, the movie isn't really, it's sort of based in fact, but it's kind of like it explains why he died, and but it's all BS. I mean, they just made it up, but it was a really great murder mystery, and his entire his alcoholism. It dealt with a lot of serious stuff, but it was a really well done movie, and it was on Netflix of all things.
Oh wow, I'll have to check that
free.
out. Oh, and just MC Front a Lot does a song called "Flow Like Poe."
Flow like Poe.
Next on my list, March 21st, 2006. The very first Twitter message is published at 9:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when Jack Dorsey tweets, "Just setting up my Twitter."
Just setting up my Twitter.
Spelled TWTTR because, you got to shorten everything, right?
Oh, yeah, right. You only have 120 characters.
Yeah.
What was that? There was this movie. He's like, oh, man, I was going to get involved in that Twitter, but I was like, 120 characters. You're not going to do 120 characters. That's stupid.
Right.
What?
It's 140.
Oh, it's 140. Yeah, whatever. Same thing. Nobody cares. Stupid Twitter.
There's a lot of people who like Twitter.
I know. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio. You see what I did there? What's next?
March 22nd, 1995. Sees the premiere of Sliders on Fox.
Oh,
Jerry O'Connell and John Rhys Davies.
I have the entire collection.
Do you?
I joke you not, sir. Yeah. I loved it, man, because I would always watch it with the subtitles on. Because when I bought them all, DJ, my firstborn, was only maybe like a year or two old, so we always used subtitles. And in the beginning of every Sliders, it was whooshing. And then at the end, it said Sliders.
That's cool.
So, I mean, I love the series. They really, they kind of went off track for a while, but it had so much potential. But they kept wanting to go back to dinosaurs and hey, we got CGI. Let's just put dinosaurs in every damn episode. But they had these Cro-Magnon things that were also sliders that had it was really, it could have been so much better, but then they brought in his brother who's uglier than him in real life.
Didn't that have a similar premise to Quantum Leap?
Yes, similar. I mean, they were lost in time, hoping each leap would be the leap home.
Right.
But, no, I mean, they started off their first season jumping through history, and I think they ran out of time eras to jump into.
Yeah.
And so they kind of went a little off the rails. But overall, it was a fun series. It ended too soon, right when they were starting to get into some really good stuff. And
it was a Fox series, right?
Yes. Yes, it was. Stupid Fox.
All right. We're on Fox, Dave.
I love Fox Sports 1280. Waka waka.
All right.
Stop me from talking. God.
March 23rd, 1903. sees the Wright brothers apply for their famous patent for a flying machine.
A flying machine,
Yes,
you say?
yes, based on their successful 1902 glider.
What, it was like 7 seconds of airtime they got?
Something like that, yeah.
Look, we got hang time. I guess, they still get credit for it, but I don't know. Were they really the first in flight, or were they first in gliding?
They were technically the first in flight.
7 seconds. I don't know. That seems a bit much.
Well, they got it right.
Well, they did get off the ground, so they didn't jump from a cliff.
Right.
They didn't have like the guy with wings on, flapping his arms real fast. Ah!
There's some good Monty Python stuff with that.
Yes.
All right. You ready for the next one?
I am.
March 24th, 1990. After 4 seasons and 102 episodes on the air, it's the end of Alf.
Oh, my gosh. Alien life form.
Yeah.
I'm Alf from Melmac.
Right.
I like cats.
Didn't he like to eat cats?
He liked to eat cats.
Yeah.
I even remember the Saturday morning cartoons. It was so bad because they had never shown Alf's home world. And so they had to make it up in the cartoon. And it was like they lived in like crazy cat trees. And they ate cats. It was I don't know what they were thinking, but it was Saturday morning cartoons. We didn't have Toonami. We didn't have the Cartoon Network. We just had ABC, NBC, and CBS. Yeah. And hopefully they would do reruns of the Smurfs or the Snorkels.
Right. Or some He-Man or
Snorks.
Thundar.
He-Man, Thundar. I have the entire series of Thundar the Barbarian.
Oh, yeah.
With
I love
Ookla
it.
the Mock.
Oh, you just reminded me real quick. The Sword Quest comic.
Atari for Nerdlandia?
Yeah, I know. I got it ordered. It's headed to my folder at my local comic shop. So.
Okay, but see, that's just the meta comic book. We need closure, Brian.
Well, this may give us the closure we need. And just real quick, my local comic shop is Hero Corners Comics on West Metairie.
I don't care. I need closure.
Yeah, well, we're getting it.
Okay.
All right.
What's next?
Last item on my list is March 25th, 2005. The animated Star Wars Clone Wars ends its run on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Clone Wars was good, man.
I didn't like the movie, and the movie turned me off, so I didn't watch the cartoon series for a while.
Dude,
because the movie was just stunk. I did not like the movie.
Well, but it seems like they really hit a lot of home runs with the animated stuff, and I mean, it gave us Ahsoka Tano, right, and
Rex,
right, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, and I do like the fact that there's like an animated section of the 501st where you can do your costumes in either the kind of the realistic version or the animated version. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, they had a guy that I met in the Southern California garrison who did Rex completely, voice and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, the voice of Rex is John Bailey, and like he does the action figures too.
Really?
Rex, move out.
That's good stuff. But all right.
Do we have time for birthdays? Sure, we got time for birthdays.
Yeah. All right. On the 20th, John Delancey.
Oh, Q.
Yeah.
Q. He refused to do an interview with us.
He did,
but he did give us a little bumper. We just never used it.
Because you've never cut it, Dave.
Well, he's not. I'm not a fan of his. He angered me.
All right.
I don't like being snubbed, Brian Held.
Fair enough. Okay. On the 21st, Matthew Broderick.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Ferris Bueller.
Have you? Yeah. Have you seen that commercial that they're redoing? They got it's a Domino's commercial. They got this guy who looks like doesn't even look like Ferris Bueller, but they do the whole commercial like it's Ferris Bueller.
I have not seen that.
Okay, good. You're lucky.
That bad, huh?
Yeah.
All right. On the 22nd, it's William Shatner.
Bill.
Yeah,
I can call him Bill because we're really tight. He retweeted my tweet one time.
Did he?
Yeah, and responded. So we're like really tight. We're like best buds. We hang out on Twitter.
Right.
140 characters.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he did retweet it at Twig Radio.
Yep. On the 24th, Kelly LeBrock.
Oh my God! Yes, Kelly LeBrock.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you see her in Unnecessary Roughness?
No.
Oh, and it had the dude from Quantum Leap. Captain Archer.
Jerry O'Connell.
No.
John Rhys Davies.
No, dang it! Oh, from Quantum Leap. Oh God. Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
I know.
All
but
right.
she was really hot in that.
Yes.
She played a soccer player.
Okay. On the 24th, it's Robert Carradine.
Nice.
Louis Skolnick from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Let's we got to wrap this show up. Look,
Last one, 25th, Richard O'Brien.
Okay, I don't know. Who the hell is that?
From Rocky Horror Picture Show, Riff Raff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's Scott Rivette. All right, so we lost somebody really close to our community. Robert Nagel passed away the other day, and he was a bastion in Southern fandom. You know, I mean,
absolutely.
Crescent City Con was his baby. You know, he and I might not have always seen eye to eye. Technically, I was the upstart, and he was the authority figure, so we clashed. But later on in life, we became,
much closer.
Yeah. He called me when I was in the hospital from a heart attack. I mean, actually, called the actual landline, and I mean, but he passed away, and we really will miss him, and Southern fandom really lost a great guy. Now, Brian, is there any part of today's show that you feel people should really listen to? And if they did want to listen to it, where would they find it?
Well, folks, once we're done with this show, we're going to upload it on Spreaker.com, or you can download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. You can also find us on iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and at FoxSportsAM1280.com.
And on WRNO.com.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
on there.
Yeah.
So iHeartRadio app's the best way to listen to us because we're like really cool and stuff.
Yes.
All right, so next week's show we have...
who do we have next week? We have Paul Lafarge, who is the author of our book of the month, The Night Ocean.
Nice.
Yes.
So what do you think? Is the book going to be good?
I've already read it. Yeah, it's
because
fantastic.
We get advanced copies.
Exactly.
We're like cool like that. They give us books. Brian knows how to read, y'all.
No, I love this book. It's great. I can't wait to talk to him next week.
Yeah, I'm reading Alan Smale's book, the third in the trilogy of the Roman Empire. Basically colonizes the New World, America.
Okay.
Like the Hokians. It's really, really good. So, all right, guys. Now, as always, just check out the Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter. The Instagram's The Week in Geek. Until next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
New Orleans, an iHeartRadio station.